Hey there, Ted Hargrave from Marketing for Hippies, and I got a question from a client of mine I want to read out and give some thoughts on. So here's the question. Do you feel it's better to plan out your avatar and niche before you go deeper on getting more clients? Or that you need to get a certain number of clients before you can really create your niche properly? Should I go and get 10, 20, 30 new clients, either in a group or one-on-one, and then clarify my niche on marketing, or the other way around? Right, so do you start by clarifying your niche, or do you start by getting clients and then figure it out? So I'm just going to put this down. Okay, so here are my thoughts. It's really not an either-or situation. This is, I think, part of where people get stuck is like, well, I don't have enough clients, so I don't know what my niche is, so how can I start? I can't start without a niche, but I don't have any clients. I can't get a job without experience, but I can't get experience without having a job, that sort of thing. I need a car to have the job, but in order to afford the car, I've got to get a job to pay for the car that I need for the job. You get into that cyclical trap. And this happens a lot with niching. Again, the cyclical trap is this. I need clients in order to have enough kind of raw material, experience to define what my niche is. But I can't seem to get clients until I have a niche. So, got to get some clients, but you see where it goes. So here's the way out of it, is you stop seeing it in absolutes. I hear this all the time. I remember a little story. Years ago, I was at a event my friends Jeffrey Van Dyke and Suzanne Folder-Barnes were organizing called the Spiritual Marketing Quest, and it was wonderful. And a lot of conversations about niche. So I was sitting outside at one point, and this woman came out. I think it was during an exercise, but she was sort of frustrated. She's like, I have no idea what my niche is. I'm totally confused and frustrated. Whenever I hear somebody say, I have no idea what my niche is, what you're hearing in that is a kind of spell that people put themselves under. The spell that I don't know anything, and that's never true. This is the whole reason I started the Niching Spiral website and home study and wrote the Niching Nest ebook, is because you get this linear idea. Point A, I've got no niche. Point B, I've got a clear niche. Mysterious process in the middle. But what if it's not linear? Because the challenge with the linear model is, right, you start with the sense of I have no clarity, no niche at all. And even then, if you get a niche and it changes, it's failure. You tried, failed, collapsed. So then you go back to the beginning, and it feels like you're totally starting blank slate. But you're never starting blank slate. It's much more of a spiraling. You start up here, with some sense, something, and then you spiral around, and it comes back, but it's here, not here, here. And it feels like, well, I'm back north. I'm back in the same place I was, but you're not, because you're not here. You're here. You've learned something. Time has passed, and you've got to allow that time that's passed to appear in your niching. So here's the way out of it. Instead of saying, I don't know anything about niching, you start with what you know. And that may not be very much. Maybe, well, I definitely want to work with men. And I want to work with them around, I don't know, places they struggle emotionally. That may be all you know. So you start with that. And that's starting up here. If you think about a nautilus shell, you spiral, and then there's a big step in, and then you spiral around. It's a smaller step in, and it's a smaller and smaller. So those first steps are going to be the biggest ones. You just start with what you know. You start with what's clear. I can't help you with what's not clear. But you got to start with what you know. That's enough. Whatever it is, it's enough. And then you try something. You make some experiments. So you might say, okay, I want to help men with emotional stuff. So that might just be then you just start having a lot of conversations with your male friends saying, where do you struggle emotionally? And through those conversations, maybe you have 10, 20 conversations with people. Or you put on Facebook, you ask, you go to a men's circle, you just listen. You read some books about men's stuff, you start to get it. Or you even just pay attention to your own experience. Where do I struggle as a man? And you'll get some clarity about that. But then you say, okay, maybe, one of the places they struggle is shame. There's a lot of shame in men. Okay, so maybe I could do a workshop on that. So then you offer that, and you hear that there's a lot of places of shame. things they did when they were younger, relationships with women, or men, romantic relationships, or shame of things they never did, that they let life slide them by, and so you might actually really decide to focus in on one of those particular ones, but it's iterative, yeah? The key is to not buy into the illusion that you don't know anything. You know something, so you start with that. And you craft an offer for those people. The people, again, it's not precise. It's never going to be 100% there. But based on what you know, you come up with some sort of an offer. And you can even, you don't even have to offer it. You can literally just go out to a bunch of people who are kind of in that group with a tentative offer saying, this isn't a pitch, but I just love your feedback. I was thinking about offering this to this kind of group of people at this price point. What do you think? And you can start getting some feedback, and that will hone it and make the offer better. I mean, I swear to God, if you take an offer, even to a fairly general group of people, what I would call in niching sort of the big circle, the broad, the general sense. When people talk about avatar, you could switch that with the term ideal client, perfect customer. In my lingo, the big circle, same thing as the answer to the question, generally, who do I want to work with? Because this woman who came out, when she said, I don't know anything, I sat her down and I was just like, I don't believe it. So I said, what do you know? What are you clear about that you want, that you don't want? And we filled an entire 8.5 by 11 page of notes. She was actually really clear what she wanted, but she'd never written it down. So step one, stop buying into the trance. That you don't know anything. Step two, just write down, what do you know? Here's a simple exercise. Take an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, we're lying down the center, put yes on one side up top, no on the other, and then you literally just, what am I saying yes to in client? What do I want? That's the stuff on the inside of your big circle. And then what am I saying no to? That's the stuff outside the circle. So what am I saying yes to? What am I saying no to? What do I want? What don't I want? And you just get as clear as you can. And what will happen is, in talking to people, but also you do a program where you work with enough people, you'll start adding to this. You'll say, oh, I really loved this quality about this client, or the fact that they came in already knowing this, or understanding how to do this, or having read this book that was very helpful. And oh God, people come with this quality, or not knowing these things, or coming from this political, spiritual philosophy, it didn't seem to work. And you can start to add to it. So this yes-no list is an iterative process too. It's a living document. It never ends. You're always tweaking. You may get to a point where it's good enough, but you just start with what you know, try something, learn, add to that yes and no. What do you want, what you don't want? Clarify that. Have that clarity appear in your marketing. Yeah, this is so important. It's in your sales letter. It's on your website. It's part of the filtering process so that people, anything that's on the no side, those people never show up in your workshops. And things on the yes side, yeah, of course, you get more of them. So that's my general thought about this. I hope that's useful. And hey, if you have any questions about niching or marketing, feel free to send me an email, and we can either set up a time to talk about it in terms of coaching, but I may also just make a video about it if it's if I think it's a common question or something that I haven't spoken to before. I'd be happy to do that, and I might not. So there's that. So hope you're all well, and I'm out.